The House votes on a historic second impeachment of President Trump. I'm Natalie Brand with how the effort has grown GOP support and the timing of a Senate trial.
How some area counties are planning for phase 2 of their vaccine rollouts. An area school changes its mask policy after changes at the county level.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The House has voted to impeach President Trump for a second time in 13 months. Both Democrat and Republican members fiercely debated exactly 1 week after a violent assault on the Capitol building where 5 people died. Unlike the first impeachment, this time several Republicans joined with Democrats. Natalie Brand is on Capitol Hill with the latest.
With bipartisan support, the House of Representatives has voted for a second time to impeach President Donald Trump.
He must go. He is a clear and present danger to the nation that we all love.
Passions flared during the floor debate over charges the president incited last week's violent and deadly assault on the U.S. Capitol.
The cameras of history are rolling. We must act.
We are on an absolute race to the bottom.
The third-ranking House Republican Liz Cheney and a group of her GOP colleagues voted yes.
These articles of impeachment are flawed, but I will not use process as an excuse.
Over the past 24 hours, at least 10 Senate Republicans have come out against impeaching President Trump, most of them citing issues with process and timing. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell said today he's not made a final decision on how he will vote and will listen to the arguments when they're presented to the Senate. But a spokesman said he will not reconvene the Senate for an emergency session, meaning a trial likely won't take place until after President-elect Joe Biden's inauguration next week. Speaker Pelosi has already named the 9 impeachment managers who will act as prosecutors. In and around the Capitol, large groups of armed National Guard members and law enforcement remain on high alert. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Of the House members from Missouri, Kansas, and Oklahoma, all Republicans voted against impeachment. President Trump released a statement today urging that any would-be demonstrators commit, quote, no violence, no law-breaking, and no vandalism of any kind. The president has lashed out at the House's impeachment proceedings, calling it a hoax and a witch hunt. Armed National Guard troops secured the nation's capital inside and out today while the lawmakers went forward with those impeachment proceedings. Members of Congress have already been briefed on potential plans for a large armed protest and a plot to surround the Capitol, White House, and Supreme Court and kill lawmakers. One lawmaker called that briefing chilling. The acting attorney general says the Justice Department will have zero tolerance for anyone who attempts to disrupt the peaceful transfer of power. Checking in with Doug Heddy now for our first look at the weather. Hi, Doug.
Hey, Dallin. It was actually a pretty good day for us today. Kind of chilly this morning, 32, but 55 during the afternoon, about 10 degrees above where we should be for this time of the year. And we still had clear skies. We had a few clouds that rolled through earlier today, but clear skies now, but we will start to see some clouds starting to thicken back up later on this evening into the overnight hours as our next storm system is brewing out across the northern parts of the Rockies. And this, it doesn't have a ton of moisture to work with, but it will work in late tonight and then into the morning hours for us on Thursday. Temperature is still pretty good. Most of us into the lower 50s. As we work through the evening hours, clouds will start to thicken up. And then late tonight, we'll get a few random little showers in here into tomorrow morning. So we're going to be talking more about what changes are moving in here in just a bit.
And we'll see you then. Thanks, Doug. Officials at health departments in southeast Kansas have begun releasing plans for phase 2 distribution of the COVID-19 vaccine. Cherokee County health officials took to Facebook explaining their plans, which include setting up a special telephone number for people to call for appointments. Crawford County officials tell us they're still in the early stages of planning.
We are in the planning phases, and we have been communicating and working with our county partners and, looking at the logistics of things, trying to select pod sites. And so we're working pretty hard on it.
The Southeast Kansas Multi-County Health Department, which includes Allen, Anderson, Bourbon, and Woodson counties, has also announced initial plans for phase 2 distribution. We'll have more on each county's plans and what you need to know tonight at 6. The Columbus, Kansas School District loosens its mask policy after the county commission dropped its mask mandate. Cherokee County Commissioners on Monday voted to end their county-wide mask mandate that was put into place on November 23rd. In response, the Columbus School District changed its mask policy, saying students and staff only have to wear masks when they are on the bus or in another school vehicle. Superintendent Brian Smith says it's not a big change, though, because it's the same thing they did for most of the semester before the winter break.
We had cases, but they kind of trickled in slowly. What's really helped us here at Columbus, I believe, the families have been very supportive. So if anyone in the family has symptoms, we ask that everyone stays home, all the children, until we have testing.
Smith says the board may look at the mask policy at their next board meeting at the beginning of February. Tonight at 6, we're going to have why commissioners say they decided to drop the county-wide mandate. The owner of a CBD store in Joplin is charged with promoting gambling. Dinesh Sood owns the Chill House on West 7th Street. According to court documents, officers found 23 slot machines in operation in the business. Sood is accused of promoting gambling in the first degree. Coming up in Health Watch, the dangers of delaying care.
Many people could be in danger delaying medical care during the pandemic. I'm Nancy Chen with how a trip to the doctor saved one man's life.
And a little later, a look at the latest numbers on the cost of living. A new study suggests college campuses are at risk for becoming COVID-19 super spreaders. Stanford University study looked at 30 campuses with high case numbers and found more than half had spikes within the first 2 weeks of class. Researchers say strict measures such as moving to online learning can reduce outbreaks. Research shows many people are putting off doctor's appointments and emergency care during the pandemic. Nancy Chen reports on how that could lead to deadly consequences.
Will Fontaine had been feeling tired and having chest pain for months, but the Florida grandfather says he was worried about being exposed to COVID-19, so he delayed seeing a doctor. When he finally made an appointment,
I had 100% blockage in one of my arteries and 80 and 70% in two of the other arteries.
Tests showed he could have had a heart attack at any moment and that he needed triple bypass surgery.
Do you think you would be here today without that surgery?
Feeling as good as I do now and how bad I felt before, I'm not so sure that I would still be alive.
A survey from the Orlando Health Heart and Vascular Institute shows 67% of Americans are concerned about going to medical appointments when coronavirus rates are high.
There's still significant reservation in patient groups with regard to seeking medical care.
Nearly 3 in 5 are hesitant to go to the hospital for an emergency. Cardiothoracic surgeon Dr. Stephen Hoff worries that could have deadly consequences.
We believe it's very safe to come to a medical institution. Delays in diagnosis and treatment lead to bad outcomes.
Fontaine is glad he finally got the care he needed.
Getting back to playing with the grandkids and wearing them out instead of them wearing me out at the end of the day.
He urges others not to put off their health like he did. Nancy Chen, CBS News, New York.
Doctors say telehealth can also be a good initial option for patients to check in with their healthcare providers. Cancer death rates dropped a record 2.4% from 2017 to 2018 for the second year in a row. It's a total decrease of 31% over 2 decades. That's according to the American Cancer Society, which says improved lung cancer treatment is one factor behind the decline. Moderate drinking can increase the risk of an abnormal heart rhythm known as atrial fibrillation. A new study in the European Heart Journal looked at more than 100,000 people and linked just one drink a day to a 16% increased risk. Doug is up next with his complete forecast, and a little bit later, our Pet Vet On Call.
Hi, I'm Dr. Eva Duda from Parsons Pet Hospital. Coming up, we're going to have to talk about diarrhea.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a great day for us today. We had a few clouds that rolled through, but in general, we've had mostly sunny skies, and that's what we have right now. And we're sitting at 51 degrees. South winds a little breezy at about 10 to 20, and then gusts a little bit higher than that. Humidity is fairly low, sitting at about 35%, and most of us look pretty good across the region still, even though the sun's about to set. We're at 51 in Commerce, 53 in Miami, 51 in CJ, much of the same in Neosho. Sarcoxy is checking in at about 50 degrees. But most of us across the region, upper 40s to lower 50s, these nice southerly winds kind of helping us warm up a bit for us today. You can see these south winds kicking in at about 10 to 20, and that's what we're going to continue to see as we go through the overnight hours for us tonight. And then we'll start to see some changes later on tonight. We're going to drop slowly back through the 40s. Eventually, we'll drop back to about 38 later on tonight. Any clouds we had earlier today, these are gone. These are off toward the east, so clear skies now, but we'll get clouds increasing again. Our next storm system is brewing back to our north and to our west, just now getting organized, but gaining strength. You can see rain and even a little bit of snow, the Dakotas, and then stretching back through Wyoming and also parts of Montana, as this system is really going to take a pretty good deep dive across the Central Plains and really cool us down as we work through the next few days. Let's go into the future. You can see this storm system rolling in tomorrow, and then it really just kind of matures as it passes by, and we get on the backside by Friday, which should bring in some light snow showers during the daytime hours on Friday. This system will rotate out. We have another system that drops in on Sunday that may give us a few snow showers, maybe a few flurries, and then it will pass on by, and then it gets kind of active, especially as we head into late next week and then the following week as we start to see our storm systems picking up just a little bit. Clouds increase tonight. Here's 4 o'clock in the morning. We could see a few random showers. These would be very light. They'd be scattered, especially in our northern counties. This is as a cold front is shifting through, so by 8 a.m., most of these showers are going to be working out of here, and then we get some sunshine. We go back to partly sunny skies by the afternoon hours. Still, temperature is not bad. I think most of us near 50, but a little bit cooler than what we saw today. It's also going to be windy. We're going to have northwest winds at 15 to 25 and gusts higher than that. As we go into tomorrow night, we'll see the clouds start to thicken up again, and you can see some light snow showers developing as we go through the daytime hours on Friday. And these we're going to kind of rotate through into Friday afternoon, especially on the Missouri side, but it's going to be windy, temperatures into the low to mid 30s, and we could get some minor accumulations from the light snow that's going to work through as we head into Friday afternoon. I think any accumulations that we would see, again, would be 1 inch or less, but still something we want to keep our eyes on as we go into Friday. All next week, it's pretty much cool. We'll get a big storm system in here on Thursday, and then that's going to set us up for the next week when we have at least the potential to get a pretty good winter storm right at the end of the month. 49 tomorrow, 35 on Friday, 41 on Saturday, and then 42 on Sunday. A few snow showers on Sunday.
Not too bad. We're going to have to work up an Arrowhead forecast in the coming days.
Yeah, definitely. That's a pretty good plan.
Thanks, Doug. Coming up, the changing cost of living. First, though, we honor a local veteran. Martin Welch served in the U.S. Navy from 1970 to 1973. Martin Welch, the Mound Valley, Kansas native, was stationed off the coast of Vietnam. And we salute machinist mate, second class petty officer Martin Welch, a four-state hero. The U.S. government's deficit is at record levels. The Treasury Department reported today with 3 months gone in the budget year, the deficit is at a record of nearly $573 billion. That's nearly 61% higher than the same period a year ago. The recession, which has seen millions of Americans lose their jobs, has also meant a drop in tax revenues at a time when the demand on government support programs has risen. The cost of living in the U.S. rose in December at the fastest pace since last summer. While consumer prices stayed constant, Americans paid more for gasoline, pushing inflation up about 0.4%. Investors do not expect inflation to have a negative impact on the economy this year. Some Americans hit the hardest financially during the pandemic are also facing a second blow, higher bank fees. According to a new report from Bankrate.com, those who saw a negative impact on their household income are paying 4 times more a month in checking account fees. Black and Hispanic populations also face disproportionate fees, paying more than twice as much as their white neighbors. More than 4,300 people in the U.S. died from COVID-19 yesterday. 4,300 yesterday, a new single-day record. As the virus continues to surge across our country, efforts are underway to increase the number of people getting vaccinated. Chris Martinez has the latest from Los Angeles.
People lined up outside the new coronavirus vaccination super site at a Disneyland parking lot in Anaheim, California.
I decided to get here early so I wouldn't have to I expected lines and lines of people.
But those who didn't have appointments were turned away.
We can't have them line up and come down if they do not currently have a Tier 1A and have already made a reservation.
In California, just a quarter of the vaccine doses received so far have been administered.
It's going to take a little bit of time for us to catch up. It's a lot of logistics that come into play.
There are signs California's coronavirus surge is starting to level off. State health officials say the number of daily newly hospitalized COVID-19 patients has dropped over the past 2 days, although the crisis remains far from over. In Arizona, which leads the nation in per capita COVID cases and hospitalizations, officials set up a 24/7 vaccination site at State Farm Stadium. It comes as the Trump administration announced it is releasing all of the vaccine supply instead of holding back second doses.
I'm thrilled that we're able to get it today.
Roberta and Irving Ruse were some of the first to get vaccinated at a new site in Westchester, New York, the epicenter of the pandemic back in March.
This is the most important thing we can do today.
New York officials say it could take up to 14 weeks to get an appointment. Chris Martinez, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Federal health officials are also instructing states to vaccinate every American age 65 and older and adults with pre-existing conditions. Final check of the forecast next. The CBS Evening News is next. Then on KOAM News at 6, the city of Joplin surpasses 100 COVID-19 deaths. We're going to have the latest reported deaths. Plus, Kansas Governor Laura Kelly delivers her State of the State address. And we'll have more on Phase 2 of coronavirus vaccine rollouts in some area counties. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. When our pets experience health issues, can be scary as we look for answers. Well, today's question for our pet vet on call comes from Ron. He says, our dog has diarrhea, but acts like she's starving and eats like a horse. She drinks lots of water, but keeps losing weight. Any suggestions?
Yeah, big flag. See your veterinarian. This could be as simple as an inferior food issue to as serious as a potentially fatal disease. One of the things that makes me think is diabetes, maybe. That could be treated. It could be hyperthyroid disease. That could be treated, but could also be digestive disorders, disease of the pancreas, or intestinal issues, like even cancer. So, yeah, right away, make an appointment to your veterinarian and bring him a stool sample.
And thanks for the question, Ron. We invite questions from anyone. If you have one, you just send it to petvet@koamtv.com. Dr. Eva Dudek from the Parsons Pet Hospital answers a different question every Wednesday right here on KOAM News at 5. You can also find answers to previous questions on our website. All right, now let's check out this week's picks of the litter. From the Joplin Humane Society, we've chosen a male Labrador Retriever mix puppy named Blitzen. And from the Southeast Kansas Humane Society, beautiful male cat the society calls a perfect low-maintenance companion. His name is Little Blue. If you're looking for a pet, we hope you check out your local Humane Society. Let's check back with Doug for a final look at the weather.
All right, Dal, we got a cold front that's going to roll in by tomorrow morning. Temperatures, though, still aren't much cooler for us tomorrow. Just a little bit cooler. A few morning showers and then partly sunny skies. But on the back side of this system, it turns colder by Friday, 35. We're going to have light snow showers throughout the day. And then even a chance for snow by Saturday night into Sunday morning, staying a little bit cool for the weekend.
Thanks, Doug. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you right back here at 6. In the meantime, let's take care of ourselves and each other.